On Sunday, July 28th, 2019, my life changed forever. Only 3 days shy of my 29th birthday, I found myself surviving a mass shooting at a garlic festival of all places. This documentary is my way of saving money on therapy. This is my story. But first, a small history lesson. Let's take it back to where it all started, in Illinois in the 1920s. The first recorded mass shooting in America was the Heron Massacre, June 21st through June 22nd, 1922. In Heron, Illinois, in a coal mining area during a nationwide strike by the United Mine Workers of America. Though the owner of the mine originally agreed with the union to observe the strike, when the price of the coal went up, he hired non-union workers to produce and ship out coal, as he had high debt and startup cost. After an exchange of gunfire by armed guards and union miners, 3 miners and 20 non-miners were killed, including the superintendent and 19 strikebreakers. Enraged that the owner had disregarded their agreement, on June 21st, union miners shot at the strikebreakers going to work where the mine had armed guards. When striking union members armed themselves and laid siege to the mine, the owner's guards shot and killed 3 white union members in an exchange of gunfire. The next day, union miners killed Superintendent McDowell and 18 of 50 strikebreakers and mine guards, many of them brutally. A 20th victim from the non-union group was later murdered, bringing the death toll to 23. The Hanapepe Massacre occurred September 9th, 1924, in Hawaii. During a strike of Filipino sugar workers in an attempt to rescue 2 hostage strikebreakers, police killed 16 strikers, while strikers killed 4 law enforcement members. In the early 1960s and throughout, 6 massacres occurred. The 1960s was full of civil rights protests that ended in gunfire from law officials or insane people getting a hold of military rifles. In the 1970s, 14 massacres occurred, all people murdering family members and or race-related killings with leftover tension from the 1960s civil rights movement. The 1980s. In the 1980s, 21 massacres occurred. The 1980s brought a horrific trend of workplace murders and school shootings. Murray Wright High School, a shooting in Detroit, attacks by Loridan in Winnetka, Illinois, and Cleveland Elementary School shooting in Stockton, California. In the 1990s, the death toll continued to rise. The 1990s occurred 30 massacres, school shootings, murders at places of worship, senseless killings, meaning not coming from retaliation with no primary motive. There were a number of school shootings that year, including Columbine, which happened to stick out because of the death toll of 39 innocent students and staff. Carrying over the tragedy into the early 2000s, the next millennium at that, 30-plus massacres occurred, and now it was becoming less of a tragedy and more of a trend. A number of deranged students shot up schools of all kinds, high schools and universities alike, to get their quote-unquote name out there or avenge themselves from a group that made them feel outcasted. Hello everybody, my name is Kristen Clemons, also known as Chrissy Clemons. I'm a YouTuber and I have a YouTube show where I review music videos. Very whimsical, very light, very happy, but I'm also a videographer. So I decided to take my pain, as you can see in the title. I survived the Gilroy Garlic mass shooting. I decided to take my pain and turn it into therapy with my art, like most people do. You guys, this is my story. So on Sunday, it was my birthday weekend. My birthday was actually yesterday. I'm filming this on August 1st, first day of the month, day after my 29th birthday. And this happened to be my birthday trip. So my boyfriend and I went to Gilroy. We paid $17.99 for the tickets a piece on Eventbrite. Then we paid like an extra $12.99 for our bus ride, because the way the festival works, you take a bus to the festival to get the scenic route of Gilroy and just to get more familiar with the town. It was a really beautiful ride. It was a cool video talking about the history of the Gilroy Garlic Festival and how it actually had been going on for 41 years. I thought that was really cool. I got to see some of the locals, and it seemed like a normal town. There were podunk parts, there were very nice parts, and they were all living together just like America. So we get to the festival. Me and my boyfriend are having a really good time. I took a picture. It's my birthday, I'm happy, I'm excited, it's super hot. We're there all day. We go to the wine tent. There's a wine area, and actually shout out to those different wineries that were there. We actually went to the winery and I actually got super drunk. Got drunk there. Oh, at the wine tent, there was the ability to do a tasting. So they had tastings, and they had the ability to also get a ticket to get a full cup. So we were getting full cups, we were doing tastings. My boyfriend and I were just having a jolly old time, okay? We were doing it all. So we're a little bit tipsy by the time we come out of that wine tent. We've had wine, we've had mimosas, we've talked to the different people, and it's just been awesome. We've had some food, all different types of food, all different types of garlic. We've had garlic ice cream at this point. It was really amazing. Really amazing people. It was wonderful. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit choked up. So, we are eating. I'm a little bit, almost honestly, I'm wine drunk at this point. My boyfriend is carrying me around like a bumbling idiot, but we're still having a good time. There's an area of the festival that you are able to get actual pieces of Gilroy garlic, and it's free. So we go to the tent where you're able to get the free garlic. Of course, I'm about to get a bushel full. The man hands me a tiny bag. My boyfriend and I are getting a couple pieces of garlic. We were going to enjoy the people of Gilroy, and you know, it's a festival, so there's a lot of tents set up with crystals and hats and local things. And so, of course, I want to support the local people of Gilroy. This tiny bag, still full of the garlic we got from there. I only got, you guys, 2 pieces. I only got 2 pieces of garlic before I looked over, and I didn't even hear shots at first. I looked over and I heard yelling. I heard shooting. I looked to my right and saw a wave of people running. So imagine like a small hill and a wave of people just coming down that hill towards me. And I look to my left and I see a table next to a gate. And it's not even really an accessible way to get out. It's a gate that's there, you know, to protect the lining of the festival. If there was no table there, I would not have gotten over that gate. Thank God, thank the heavens on earth, I had on sneakers. I had on gym shoes. And so I was able to get around that, thank God. So I hopped the fence, and there is another little black boy by me. He has to be 12, and his mom. So I remember seeing him before I saw his mother. My boyfriend's on my right, the son and the mother are on my left. And I hopped the fence like this way and go up, because it was like a miniature hill that led into a beautiful suburban neighborhood. That little boy, I'm hopping over the fence and running, and I'm next to the boy. So I asked him, because he's 12, he's like, you know, coherent, and I'm still a little bit drunk. So I asked him, were those gunshots or were those fireworks? And the little boy said, no, those were gunshots. Those were gunshots for sure. His mom had on no shoes at all. She's running, she's trying to get him to stop and start running because he's taking off. And we're trying to figure out what's going on. There were 2 volunteers in front of me from a high school. I wish I would remember the name, but they had on blue shirts with white writing on the back. And it said, Volunteer Garlic Festival, such and such high school 2019. And I said to them, were those real gunshots? Because you guys work the festival, like the people that work there would know what's going on. I asked them, were those real gunshots? And they said yes. They said that their boss just told them to run. And so they took off running in front of me, and it was complete chaos after that. People were just running past me. Some people were just trying to call rides. I mean, you could hear sirens. It was becoming just ludicrous. It was becoming so crazy. So I see another young black girl. I, as a young African-American woman, if I see other black people, I automatically get comfortable, okay? So I saw another black girl, and I asked her, was she okay? Yelled across the street. We've walked into the neighborhood, a little past the neighborhood now. I said, are you okay? Sis, are you okay? She said, I'm fine. She said, come get in the car with me. A sweet young girl named Nakia from Chicago. She said, get in the car with me, my friend is coming. So we're like, okay. Her friend comes around, nice mixed girl. They are together, and she's from Chicago as well. I did not get her name, and I wish I would have. They drive off with John and I. All of a sudden, we have to find out where the pink lot is. We're parked far away. So we're looking for the pink lot. We don't know at all where it is. And this is for anyone going to any event. I don't care if it's a concert, going to anything. These days, please drop a pin on where you parked, because that would have saved us a lot of time. But I digress. So we're driving, trying to get out of there, okay? A bus stops in front of us. A police car rushes up to the bus, and they're trying to argue with the bus. I hop out of the car. There's another bus behind us because we are looking for the pink lot. We don't know where anything is. I asked the lady that drove the bus. She didn't speak English very well, and so she had a hard time understanding me, and she just kept saying green lot in her accent. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know where the green lot is. So I got back in the car, said the lady only knows what the green lot is. And I don't think that will help us, because I don't know if all the lots were next to each other. So it's just completely crazy at this point. So I'm not knowledgeable where any of the lots are. The lady's saying green lot. I run back to the car. I told John, we don't know where we're going. Finally, the bus recedes because there are other cars behind us, honking, going crazy. Everybody's trying to exit. Everybody's trying to get to safety, get out of there. I'm a little tipsy, but at this point, I'm a lot more coherent. I was shaken into sobriety just like that. And I see, when I hop out, I speak to a couple. I know a couple hears me. A young Caucasian couple hears me, and they say, you're looking for the pink lot? We know where the pink lot is. So immediately, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're trying to get my number to drop me a pin. The sweet young girl that was driving, she said, come on, everybody hop in. You guys know where the pink lot is? Just grab your GPS and we know where we're going. My boyfriend and I are sitting next to each other in her back seat. They're lapped up, and we're just talking about the situation. We're like, oh my God, thank God we're getting out of here. So I asked the couple, what happened with you guys, after telling them, what I just dispelled to you guys, what happened with us. I said, what happened to you guys? They said they were standing by the creek. They were not that far from the terrace, and they saw a man running with a microphone, like a walkie-talkie, and he was holding an infant. And they said he was running, and he was saying, either he was saying or he was hearing on his receiving end, the terrorist is wearing camo. He's shooting from the river. He's in the front by the river. He's wearing camo, he's shooting with a rifle. So they heard that, and they immediately bolted the other way. Obviously, they start running out of the the opposite direction they start running with everybody else. So they're running with everybody else. They make it to safety. Fast forward, they make it to us. We get to the pink lot, and we get out of there. And actually, I actually had time, because remember I was drinking. I had time to stop and use the restroom. And so I used the bathroom real quick, and we were out of there. Not a lot of people had made it back yet. Thank God we were able to move as swiftly as we were able to move. We literally got out of there like that. And that's just due to the grace of God. We literally were out of there in 2.5 seconds. Getting through the neighborhood, getting to that girl's car, getting to back to the paint pot was all literally a miracle. And I'm just so blessed we were able to do that. Craziness. Thank you guys for listening to my story. I made this documentary, I made this short doc because I wanted to do some therapy for myself. I've been through a lot. It just was last weekend. That was my birthday. And I've been in CNN. I've had the LA Times call me. I've had the San Francisco Chronicle call me. I've had literally everyone call me asking for my story. And I thought I would give it to you guys firsthand out of my mouth. It literally has traumatized my boyfriend. I could tell he doesn't want to go anywhere. He was already a soft-spoken person, and this just shook him up and just kind of solidified all the fears he had. So I don't see us going to any more concerts or festivals for the rest of the year. I cannot see that. I definitely see us being at the house. What it did to me is what is the scariest part. The scariest part of this whole situation to me is that I'm very numb to it. I am actually not super shocked. And that to me is very scary. I was born in 1990. I'm a millennial. I'm 29 years old as of yesterday. And I've been through a lot. I've been through a little. I've had some good times, some bad times. This is not even the first time I've been to an event or a carnival or a festival and it's been shot up. The difference behind it is the coverage and the reasoning. The reasoning for this was, it wasn't a reason. This was pointless. This person killed a 6-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 25-year-old. Babies died. Babies that did not know each other. Babies that did not owe him money. Babies that did not owe each other money. Babies did not sleep with anybody's girlfriend, or babies that did not shun them at their high school, middle school. These kids didn't know him. They don't know him. Their parents don't know him. I don't even know if they're from the same community. I don't know this shooter. I didn't even look up his name because I'm not going to give him that much. I heard he was from Vegas. Who knows, who cares? Because I think that's the issue too. When I did a lot of my research, I saw a lot of the names of the terrorists would pop up, and I decided not to give it that much because he doesn't deserve for me to know his name. He doesn't need to be famous. I see no need to put the Boston bomber on the cover of my Time magazine, if you know what I'm saying. Say that to say, the fact that I'm numb to this is the scariest part. Living in America in 2019, even living in America in 2020, 2019, I do believe this is the 280th shooting of this year. I've looked it up, and every single time I've looked it up, I've got different numbers, even on Google. Sometimes it'll say 204, sometimes it says 284, sometimes it said 280. At this point, who knows? And I feel like nobody cares. And that's the part that sucks the most. I feel like nobody cares. I don't think that anything's gonna change. We're living in a very scary time, but I feel like every generation was living in their own version of a scary time. Is this scarier than slavery? Is this scarier than the civil rights movement? Is this scarier than the Holocaust? Some people may say no. Some people may say equal. Some people may say nothing at all. But I say all that to say this. I don't think that anything's going to change, but I hope that some laws do. I hope at least there are some background checks done on every single person that purchases a gun. I have a friend in Georgia in about 2015, I think. I went with a friend of mine to Jonesboro, and I went with them to purchase a gun. They had nobody's license. They could have had fake information, honestly. They asked for a fingerprint, they asked for ID, like 2 forms of ID and a fingerprint, but that was it. There were all kinds of guns in there. I can't name all the types of guns, I'm not a gun aficionado. There were gold guns, there were pink guns, there were red guns, there were blue guns, there were big guns, little guns, rifles, pistols. There were all types of guns, the Deep South. And you were almost able to get anything you wanted from there, only with a fingerprint and whatever kind of ID and cash you brought to the table. It's too easy. It's too easy. It should not be that easy. It should not be that easy. It should not be that accessible to be able to get a weapon of mass destruction, something that can kill your kids, their kids, our kids, my kids, me, you. No one is acceptable. No one is a demigod and not able to be shot and not die. Unless, of course, you're 50 Cent. And not all of us are Curtis Jackson. Some of us are just normal people trying to go to a garlic festival. I say in the election for 2020, people talk about gun control. Some people are pro-gun, which I don't even know what that means. Like, what does it mean to be pro-gun? Nobody's saying you have to be anti-gun and want some damn restrictions. I really hope that everybody realizes that babies are dying. This is not gang members. This is not your robbers, your cheaters, your stealers. These are kids. These are kids dying. Kids can't go to a festival. They can't go to a concert. I feel really bad for the generation of my kids. I don't know what they'll be like. I don't know what the world will be like for them. I hope they'll be able to go places, because I remember a time where I didn't have this fear. I remember a time where I could go to anything, and not that I felt fearless, like I wouldn't get kidnapped, but I definitely felt like I wouldn't get shot. This situation is crazy. I'm calling for you guys to change some laws. Look at your local lawmakers. Think and check policies when you are voting. Check for policies for your district. Check for policies for your state, your town. Know everybody that's running. Know all your judges. Find out the gun laws and the restrictions of where you live and fight for your right to be safe. And that's all I gotta say.